Hey guys, this is Chad, and this video is video number 10 in my travel hack series. This one's going to cover a full booking. I'm going to book using American miles. I'm going to book an entire flight from Denver to Bali. I'm going to try and get there as much as I can in first class and the return flight. I'm going to use a tool called Award.Flights Finder that is a Google Chrome extension. It works pretty slick, so that's the biggest tool that you're going to see me use in this video. It allows you to search a bunch of different websites like British Air, several One World airlines for their award availability. Since American's website doesn't search international flights very good at all, if at all, you have to go to a different site. Usually it's Japan Air or British Air. Their websites do a lot better job. They've got to sign up for their executive club, which is free. It's just a frequent flyer program. You go to their British Air's website, sign up for Executive Air, get your login information, and then you can use their search engine to search for award flights. Now you can use American Airlines Miles as a partner airline to book on British Airways or One World partners like British Air and Cathay Airlines and Etihad, and there's several out there, Japan Air, that you can use your American Airlines to book on. Now you call American Airlines to book those flights. So you would call American AAdvantage and say that you want to book a flight from Denver to Bali, and either they can look it up or you can tell them the flight numbers that you have looked up. Most people will just call the American Airlines agent and have them do it for them, which is fine. Personally, when you call up, you have to wait on hold. Sometimes I've waited on hold for 2 hours before calling them, and you never know whether or not they'll have the availability. So you call up, you say you want to go there for Thanksgiving or whatever, you want to use award flights, they check it out, and if they don't find it, then you've wasted all that time. Award Flights Finder, this tool, will search the websites for you so that you can find out before you call whether or not those seats are available. Normally what I do is I book the flight, or I find the flights and book them in business, and because first class is not available. First class usually becomes available a couple of weeks out. So once we get 2 weeks into when my flight takes off, they open up award availability, the seats that haven't been sold a lot of times, to their award members. And on American Airlines, using American Airlines Miles, any itinerary that I have booked, I can upgrade that itinerary from, say, economy to business or business to first class. It's a real good way to get first class tickets, even if they're not available. Now, worst case scenario is that I get stuck with business that I've already booked because nothing opens up. But with this tool, it'll allow me to search different routes, and so long as your departure city and your arrival city remain the same, you can change flights that you take in there. Say if I initially booked business from Denver to LA, LA to Hong Kong to Bali, Indonesia, I can change that. A first class ticket opens up from Denver to JFK and JFK to Hong Kong. I can change those two legs of the route because the departure city is still Denver, the arrival city will still be Bali. So it's a good tip to know that you can change these flights around so long as those stay the same. You can upgrade. One thing to know is you cannot downgrade it. So if you choose business and you decide, I don't want to spend that many points, you can't downgrade to economy. So keep that in mind. A lot of times when you book an itinerary, even if you were to call an agent, they will give you an itinerary where you might have, who knows, a 12-hour layover. To change that, you're going to end up having to book that flight, because you still want to make it out there. In the future, you're going to have to change, if you want to change that booking. You don't want to have a 12-hour layover. You want to look for something that's a little closer to when you arrive in that connection city. You would have to call American Airlines, see if they have it, and the process of waiting on hold for a half an hour or an hour is really a pain in the butt when you can just look it up using this tool. So that's another good reason to use the tool, is that if you're trying to get closer connections, you can always look them up. You can look them up incrementally, look them up every week, see if any seats have become available on other flights that will get you to the location a little bit quicker. Here's a quick tip. If you're in America and you're during waking hours, like right now it's daytime, if I wanted to call an American Airlines agent, I'm going to get put on hold. Like I said, it could be a long hold time. There is another option. You can look up on American Airlines website another American Airlines office. If you have Google Voice or if you're using Skype and you can call, I actually have a phone hooked up to my Google Voice account, so it costs me almost nothing. I call Australia. They're all asleep, so their agents are not busy. And when I call, I get connected right away, and I can book flights through there. Another benefit to that is, for some reason, American agents cannot see Etihad availability. So if I'm trying to get one of those big apartments on a Etihad, which if you look in a previous video, I posted what those apartments are like. They're awesome. I found availability, but you can't book them through agents that are in America. They don't see the availability for some reason, and it's been that way for a long time. But you can call Australia. Australia American Airlines agents can see that availability and can book it for you, and that's how I did it last time. Unfortunately, there's some sort of quirk right now, and I'm not sure if it's because of the travel bans that we have going on, but Etihad is only allowing American passengers to book 30 days out from a flight. So for some reason, that's one of the quirks. Hopefully that frees up here pretty soon. I know that it's recently started happening, so I don't know whether it's an error and that it'll be fixed soon, or whether it's going to be more long term. But again, Australian agents can see it. I just wanted to let you know all of that about it. Again, you can call American Airlines, call their agents. They can do all of this booking that I'm doing for you, but I find that this saves me a hell of a lot of time, gets me better flights, and if I'm looking for upgrade opportunities, if I'm looking to get that first class seat that may not become available until close in, I don't have to keep calling to see if that seat is available. This will let me know. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and get into it and get started with how I book from front to end. Now, this isn't going to be an exciting video, so if you want to fast forward through it. If you want to watch and see how everything works, then watch it. And let's get started. Okay, so as I've covered in a previous video, the Award.Flights Award Finder is a Google Chrome extension. You have to have Google Chrome, and you have to find the Award.Flights Award Finder. For some reason, it doesn't show up in my search, and I don't know whether or not when I'm searching for this, it doesn't show up because I already have it, but I'm going to provide a link down below directly to this application so that you can download it yourself if you can't find it by searching for it. And I'm going to launch the app. This is what it looks like. It's kind of basic. If you're getting it for the first time, you're going to have to go into the settings and put in your username information. And these are all the airlines. If you look here, these are all the airline websites that it searches. Now, if you recall, I'm doing American Airlines, but I'm logging in to British Air. And that's because British Air is a great website if you're looking for international travel using American Airlines. All these others, if you have Singapore miles, which you can get from Chase cards, or if you have other miles from different cards, you'll find out which search site works the best for them. And if it's included in this award finder, then use your login information for those frequent flyer programs, put it in here, and use this tool so you don't have to go directly to their site to search for your award flights. Now, I'm going to use British Airways. I've already got my login information, so I'm going to go to search. Now, in the from field, you can put multiple cities, and that's what's so cool about it. You can put all the places that it flies from to get to your location. You can also do that on the destination side. One thing that you want to do, and this is where it gets a little bit tedious, is you have to do it, or you're going to want to do it leg by leg. The best thing is find out where your major leg is, and that's usually the leg over the pond if you're going international. So I'm doing Denver to Bali, and usually it's Denver to some coastal city, that coastal city over to Hong Kong, and then Hong Kong down to Bali. There's other routes in there if I wanted to fly to Singapore or Borneo or Bangkok or Kuala Lumpur. These are all flights that I can get to, that I know of, using American Airlines going through Hong Kong, and it's usually because Cathay and American fly to Hong Kong as the main hub out there in the Asian Pacific area. So what I'm going to do is, I know that I need to fly from, and I've found this using other videos, usually Google Flights, to find the legs to get to and from where I need to go. Plus I know now that I need to use them. But I'm going to put in multiple cities, and I've actually saved a search. I'm putting in LAX, San Francisco, Dallas, Fort Worth. This is Chicago, JFK, and Boston. And my destination city is Hong Kong. So I'm looking for a flight from any of these cities that goes to Hong Kong on the 20th of November. I'm willing to go out to the 21st of November. I can add up days if I want to go out anytime. Passengers too, so it's only going to search for flights that have availability for 2 passengers. Also, I put in first and business class. I'm not looking for economy, but since British Airways searches and it automatically gets the seats available in economy and premium economy, those seats are going to display. It just automatically scrapes from those pages the economy, so even though I didn't check it, they're going to show up. Just so you know, that's one of the quirks. You'll notice that before I did the search, I put a check mark before the BA. That means that I want to search the BA, which is the British Airways website. And that's what this is going to. This goes to British Airways website. It performs searches on that site, and then it scrapes all the results, and it puts them in this table. So it's going through day by day. Right now it's searching Dallas-Fort Worth to Hong Kong on the 20th in first class. And it's checking to see if there's any seats available. Once it gets done with Dallas, it'll go to the next one in line. It'll do Chicago, which is ORD. And it'll search all of their flights. And right now, as you can see, there are a ton of flights. I've got a bunch in business, which is what I would be happy with, and it's got several in first class as well. Now these first class ones, they're on British Air. British Air first class is not known for being fantastic, neither is their business. So I'm actually going to see if I can find something. Hopefully it's not going to happen. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Cathay. So I can get San Francisco to Hong Kong in business class on Cathay. Here's another one that allows me to do it on Cathay. Those are the flights I'm going to be looking for because I love Cathay compared to British Air, which is really falling behind as far as their seats are concerned. Cathay has much better seats. So again, this is another situation where if I called American Airlines, they're just going to give me whatever pops up. British Air, for example, since they have so much availability on British Air, that's going to be one of the first that comes up. Not only is it not a direct flight, because you have to stop in London Heathrow before you get to Hong Kong, but you're flying British Air. So hopefully they would give me the ones that they see that are in business class. Now once I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this, and once we get all of the results, I'm going to actually copy and paste them. I've made a request that they tab the results, and you'll see why in a minute, but for this application. But right now, I'm going to copy the results. I'm going to put them into Photoshop so that I can refer to them later. And I'm going to look for other legs, because now if I have the leg over the pond, I can search for the smaller ones much quicker. And I'll show you how I do that so that we can get this whole flight booked. And sure enough, as soon as I turned off the camera, the searching stopped. As you can see, that blue animated bar going across disappeared. When that disappears, that means it's done searching. These are all of the results here. There are a ton of them, and that's just 2 days. So all of these are available. What I want to do is I'm going to go into the show hide filters down here. Since I don't want economy or premium economy, I'm going to take those out. Now it's shortened down to just flights that have business or first class availability. It'll show premium economy or economy in there if they also have those, but those are not important. First, I want to take out business and see if there's anything on Cathay that has first class, and there's not. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with business, keeping business on there, look for a Cathay flight. I'm just going to go ahead and take off Japan, take off British, and take off American, because I want to fly Cathay this time. So now it's only showing me itineraries with Cathay in them. I want to look non-stop only. The ones down here, you notice there's 2 lines in here. That means there's a connecting flight. I don't want that. I want to go directly from the United States to Hong Kong. So I'm going to say non-stop only, and that removes all of those. So that takes them out of the equation. Right now, I've got a pretty good idea of 2 days worth of flights that's going to get me from the United States to Hong Kong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print screen, and I actually have a hacked version. I've hacked this program a little bit so it opens up in tabs. So my next search would be in a different tab so that I could refer back to this. Because right now, what I'm going to want to do is I want to search from, say, I'm going to choose one of these flights, say San Francisco. I'm going to see if I can get from Denver to San Francisco close to this time. And the way that I'm going to do that is use American's website. And then I'm also going to search from Hong Kong to Bali to see if I can find a leg from Hong Kong to Bali. So right now, I've copied that. I use Photoshop because it's quickly available to me. I've copied the page, and I'm going to go ahead and paste my results so that I remember them. You don't need to for this video, obviously. Now I'm using 3 screens, so I'm going to take this off because some of the stuff on my other screens I don't need the whole world to see. And I'm going to crop just the stuff that I want to keep. There we go. So now, as you can see, I've cropped the screen that I want to keep. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and search another flight. Let me find something here that I want to key off of. I would like to fly into San Francisco. So 11:20. Now again, you can fast forward through all of this, but 11:20 at 11:30 is when it leaves. 11:30 a.m. Actually, let me see if there's something a little bit later. 10:50, 11:20. I'm writing them both down at 10:50 p.m. That allows me more time to get to San Francisco. Let's also write down the time that they get back. So 10:50 in Hong Kong arrives at 6 a.m. The one that left at 11:30 a.m. right here arrives at 6:50 p.m. on the 21st. And 10:50 arrives at on the 22nd. So those are good. That's good information that I want to grab for my Hong Kong flight. And since I have this open, I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to take all of these out and go Hong Kong, and I want to fly to Bali. And their airport code is DPS. It's Denpasar, Indonesia, which is on the island of Bali. And now I know that I need to leave Hong Kong on the 21st at the earliest at 6:50 p.m. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the 21st. I'm going to add a day because I really don't want to leave later than the 22nd on. I don't want to leave Hong Kong any later than the 22nd. So this will give me the 21st, and it'll also search the 22nd for 2 passengers. Now that I'm searching, it got rid of all my other results, which is why I would like to have them in a tab so I didn't have to copy all that stuff. But I've put in a request to the developer, and he's got an awesome program. I'm sure he's going to do it. And also, if he's watching this video and he wants my code, I've hacked it so it does make tabs. I'm just not showing it here. Let me know. I'll email you the code. All right, so now we've found all the flights. These are all of the flights on those 2 days that go from Hong Kong to Bali. So let's find out which one matches up best. I would like to stay in business class. Again, this is first class, business, premium economy, and economy. In case you didn't know, those are the seat fare classes. And we want to stick in business class. And it looks like one leaves Hong Kong at 2:55, one leaves at 5:45 p.m. And it looks like the earlier flight into Hong Kong got there on the 21st at 6:50 p.m. So the earliest flight that we can get there on, we can't make that flight. So that's not going to work. Hong Kong to DPS, we don't want to look at that one yet because it's in economy. This is a shorter flight, so it would be okay to downgrade, but I don't want to. Now on the 22nd, we actually, on that second flight that I was looking, it gets into Hong Kong at 6 a.m. on the 22nd. So this one would be perfect. We want to take Hong Kong to DPS when we want to fly KA, which is Malaysian Airlines, and that leaves at 12:35 on the 22nd, and that is in business class. That'll get us into Bali at 5:45 on the 22nd, which is perfect. We'll have time to get to our hotel. So now we have flights from San Francisco to Hong Kong and Hong Kong to Bali. Now we do have a little bit of a layover, 6 a.m. to 12:35 p.m. It's about 6 hours that we have to wait. So what I'm going to do is later on, in a couple weeks, I'm going to come back and check this again. Just that one, Hong Kong to DPS, and see if any more seats have opened up. Even after I've booked, it could be as close in as, a week to taking off. I can call up and change my flight from this one that I booked to a new one. So that's really helpful. Where this tool comes in, extremely helpful, is if I want to get a closer in connection, I can look it up again and see if a different flight has opened up. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to use American Airlines to find, now that I have the second half of my trip, I have all the flights that I need, all of the flight information. Actually, I'm going to go back in, since I know what my second leg is going to be. I know which one my first leg needs to be, the one that leaves on the 20th at 10 p.m., at 10:50 p.m., and that is this one. It gets in on the 22nd. Okay, that's CX 873. So that's Cathay Flight 873. Their business class is really good, so I'm glad I got in on that flight. And if I had more time in this video, I honestly would probably go through all of these, since I have time I could take any one of these flights and find out which one gets me the closest connection and gets me all of the airlines I want to fly. But I'm doing this quick, so I'm just going to show you guys. I'm just checking a couple of connections and trying to make a quick itinerary to get me out there. So now I have a recap: San Francisco to Hong Kong on flight 8, Cathay Flight 873, that leaves at 10:50 p.m. on the 20th and arrives in Bali at 5:45 p.m. on Malaysian Airlines in business class. So now I'm going to go over to American and search for a flight that'll get me from Denver to San Francisco.